and welcome to today's episode of the Social Bee podcast. Today I have the lovely Jacqui Jagger on as my guest. Jacqui runs Beyond Boundaries Coaching. We got in touch really, I think, initially through LinkedIn, and then Jacqui was very generous to come on board with the online summit, Raise Your Visibility Online, at the start of 2019 and was one of my guest experts. So Jacqui lives in Coventry in England and really runs her business online, I think. But actually, Jacqui, why don't you tell us yourself? You introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your business, your products and services.
Lovely. Thanks, Louise, and thanks for having me. Yes, I'm based in Coventry. My business is a mix, really. So I do some coaching face-to-face for people that are local, but the bulk of my coaching is done on the phone or via Zoom. So, yeah, it's a real kind of mix that I have. Initially,
Jacqui, you worked as a trainer, isn't that right?
I've done a mix of things. So I would say probably of the employed jobs that I've done, the one that has kind of most brought me to this point was that I worked for a really fast-growing entrepreneurial company, and I was customer service and then retail director for them. So it was kind of operational roles, but a lot of people development that's been involved. So always kind of people type of businesses that I've been involved with. So yeah, quite a varied background, and that was brilliant grounding for having my own business.
When did you start your own business, Jacqui?
So I've had it now for 2 and a bit years. So the first year of that I did kind of part-time and fitted it around a training contract job. And then a year ago, November, so a year and 3 months now, was when I kind of went full-time into my own business. So yeah, still comparatively early days. But
yeah, it is actually. Did you purposefully build it up while working part-time or not?
Well, there's a bit of a story. So I kind of started my business by mistake. In my last employed job, I got to the stage where I didn't realise it at the time, but looking back now with the benefit of hindsight, I was very close to burnout. And I'd spent a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to kind of fit in, to be what they needed me to be, to kind of bit of a square peg in a round hole. And so I got to the point that I left. I live in Coventry and I was working predominantly in London at that point. So there was a lot of commute, a lot of travel. And the initial plan was I'll find something in the Midlands. I'll sort out the work-life balance. Life will be good. And what happened was I was kind of looking around for other stuff and there was just nothing that inspired me. I could have gone back into the same type of role, but it just felt like that'd be repeating. And in the meantime, coaching had been something that had fascinated me. So I've used coaching and kind of done coach training, in my employed roles for years. And it's always fascinated me how much of a difference it can make and how quickly it can make that difference. But the idea of actually having a business and starting it and doing all of that and not having the nice, safe income every month was scary.
Yes.
So yeah, it was only after I left the job and then didn't find anything that inspired me that I started researching coach training qualifications and then made the decision to go down that route. So once I'd decided, then it was a planned thing to get the training role to sit alongside it initially. But it wasn't planned at the point of deciding to start my business. It came after.
Okay, let's dig into that a little bit. You said there about getting coaching training qualifications, because I work with women entrepreneurs and I see there's a lot of coaches out there, isn't there?
It's such a broad term and it's used in so many different ways. So yeah, for me, coaching is quite specific, and I think more broadly, it covers areas of mentoring, training, consulting, as well as coaching. So when I'm talking about coaching, the work I do is very much about working with people to set their own goals, create their own plans, and take action towards them.
Yes.
So I'm not teaching people how to run their business. I'm sitting alongside them and giving them the time and the space. And the work that I do is in helping them to do their best thinking and then in giving them the nudge. So I describe myself as 50% cheerleader and 50% bum kicker. So it's about kind of giving people that encouragement and support, but also the challenge to take consistent action. And I think more broadly, there will be other people that are coaches who are maybe more expert, who blend that more with training. There will be people who've kind of been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and will give kind of support and advice from their perspective of having been along that journey. So it's important, I think, that people realise how broad the term is, because when you think of getting a coach, you need to really consider which of those is right for you at that stage of your journey, and for you as an individual, because it will be different.
Yes, that's really interesting, because the people that I work with on a one-to-one basis, I am really teaching them the techniques and skills and really about the software that they need to use. The previous podcast, so when we were recording this, the week before this is being recorded, I had John Lee Dumas on the podcast, and we talked about that. And I said, there's people out there who will say, buy this training program, buy that training program. And he said, well, actually his coach, he paid his first coach to teach him about what he needed to do. And they recommended the programs that he should do to learn all the tech and the ins and outs and all the processes of these things. So it's really fascinating, because when I love working one-to-one with somebody, but I will say to them, I recommend using ConvertKit, I recommend using this to do webinars and this to do podcasts. So mine kind of is that kind of coaching, whereas like here's how to actually use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is so important that people do recognise, because I think if you're getting the wrong kind of support, that's when the overwhelm can come in. It's when it can get really tricky. And if somebody's trying to kind of learn the detail and they haven't done the bigger picture thinking, that's really hard. And likewise, if they've done all the bigger picture thinking and they need that expertise, then I'm not the right person for them.
Yeah.
So it's...
Oh, you and I can work together, Jacqui.
Exactly. Perfect.
Brilliant. Oh dear. So I'm all about people building audiences that work for them. Okay. Part of the Raise Your Visibility Online Summit was about it's a list building exercise for me, and about, as the person who organizes that summit, getting in front of my ideal clients. Let's talk a little bit about audience size then, because there's this whole thing that people say, you need to have an email list of tens of thousands of people. But actually, if you've got a really good quality offer and you work with somebody one-to-one, there's no point in having 10,000 people on an email list, is there?
No. And it's, again, for me, it comes back to what people need and what's right for them and their business.
Yeah.
For me personally, I don't have a list.
Okay.
I haven't got to that point yet. And it's something that will be on my agenda at some point, but at the moment it's not the key priority. So most of my work comes from either from LinkedIn, from inbound inquiries from people on LinkedIn, or from in-person recommendations and referrals.
Ooh, I like that.
That's where...
Always good to get a recommendation, isn't it?
Yeah. To your point, the size and the type of audience that you need is going to be very specific and individual. And I think unless somebody kind of gets that advice and understands that, it's easy to get kind of overwhelmed and go down this route of, oh my God, I've got to build a massive list. And maybe you do, and maybe that's the right thing for you, but maybe it's not.
It's so true. It's the whole thing. You've got to think about what is the end result that you're actually looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk about LinkedIn, because that is where I connected with you initially.
Yeah.
How do you find LinkedIn, and what way do you use it? Like, are you on there every day? Are you posting every day? How do you use LinkedIn to actually get business, Jacqui?
So LinkedIn for me is the platform that I enjoy the most. It's the platform that comes most naturally to me. Yes, I'm on there daily. I'm on there too much because I enjoy it and end up staying on there. I'll be scrolling through in the evening while I'm cooking dinner. But yeah, so the way that I use LinkedIn is that it's about a combination of things, I guess. So it's about the way that my profile and headline and summary are written. and the business that I've got, the clients that I've got from LinkedIn, have generally made comment about that. So it's something that they've maybe seen content that I've put out. So that might be my own content. It might be comments or engagement that I've put onto other people's posts. And they feel a sense of connection. And then when they are thinking about getting coaching and they look at my profile, the way that it's written really resonates for them. So generally, the people have pretty much not interacted with me at all before. And the first that they're kind of on my radar is a message into my inbox saying, I think I need some coaching. What's the next stage? Can we have a chat? Can I find out more?
That's really fascinating. So people are actually saying to you that is how they find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I really bang a drum for LinkedIn here in Northern Ireland. And so last week I ran 2 big workshops of, I think there was 10 people in the first one, maybe 12 in the second one. And I always say, show of hands, who's on LinkedIn? And, not even half the room put their hands up. And then I say, keep your hands up if you're posting on LinkedIn. And you're lucky if one person keeps their hand up.
I just found it so much easier. So I kind of dabbled with Facebook at the same time. And I just found LinkedIn so much easier to do loads of things. It's really easy to search and target and connect with people who might be your ideal client. It's really easy to get better reach and better engagement than it is on Facebook. I think it's a great time of opportunity for LinkedIn at the moment. And if you are, a business owner and running your own business, it's just a brilliant way to network. I've had, as well as the business that I've had some great experiences of building meaningful relationships with other business owners. And some of those are now in person as well as online. I've just found to me, it's kind of like a 24/7 networking party that you can kind of drop in and out of as you see fit.
Yes.
Chance.
Yeah, and that's absolutely. I think you and I are completely on the same page about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a valuable platform. And also, one of the things I always say to people at workshops is, when I'm on Facebook, now, to be fair, when I'm on Facebook now, I'm all about business community on there, and I'm really spending my time inside Facebook groups with other women entrepreneurs. But Facebook is not where your average person goes when they're thinking about business. They're going to Facebook because it's about community, and whether that is your local parents group or your family. My brother lives in New Zealand, and I see, we post stuff on there about family, private stuff about family and the kids. But it's LinkedIn. You're not there. You're not there to see your niece and nephew. You're there to connect with businesses and other business owners.
Yeah. And I think Facebook does the community piece, and Facebook groups are brilliant. And again, I've been engaged in some great Facebook groups and I had some real value from those. But I just, for me, for what I do, I find LinkedIn much more natural and much easier to build my audience that way. So I kind of tried both, started to get a bit of traction with LinkedIn, and that's the route that I've mainly gone down.
So how do you, I'm really interested in this. I wonder how many times someone has seen you posting or commenting before they reach out to you on LinkedIn to talk about working with you.
I think generally it's going to be a fair few. I haven't specifically asked the question, but I think the sense that I get when people make contact is that there is a real sense of the resonance of that. Yes, you seem like my kind of person. Yeah. I want to coach, and it feels like you're the right person for me. So they're quite warm leads at the point that people make contact with me. And I get the impression that they've seen a fair bit. They've often made reference, and they might have gone from LinkedIn and gone onto my website and read my blogs and done other things as well. So it kind of acts as a bit of a showcase. And I think you've got, whatever platform you use, you've got to show up consistently because it's not enough to just put one post out there and run away. You've got to be around, you've got to be seen, and people have to feel that they can get to know you enough to get a gauge of whether you're the kind of person that they want to work with, especially given how coaching is so intimate, especially the type of work that I do. So my work specifically is mindset coaching. So it's helping people to think and act differently.